Hi there, it's Kevin with GatheringMagic.com with match number 5 with the Abzan Flicker. This is kind of a weird card without the black source. I do believe we keep it though with the Fiend Hunter Flickerwisp combination. You have to have an Aether Vial for this combo to really work. We haven't actually seen, haven't really done much with the combo. We do draw into a black source though. The Fiend Hunter's going to be a nice curve here. Or the Tidehollow Sculler into the Wasteland Strangler even better. So hopefully we do draw the black source. Collected Company's fine. Gives us something to shoot for. Now we have no dead draws as far as... Well, we need to draw lands, of course, to hit the Collected Company. So Razorverge Thicket, Overgrown Tomb. Hey, can we mirror out here? That'd be... This can be a crazy match if we do. There's our black source. We'll go ahead and go grab the Godless Shrine. I don't have... yeah, Godless Shrine is... No, Overgrown Tomb, because this one made triple or double green and double white. And we'll Tidehollow Sculler him. That might take care of his Qasali Pridemage. Depending on what we take here. I'm going to take... the Kitchen Finks is what he wants to be casting next turn. But we're not going to take Lingering Souls because we want to give it back to him. So we're going to go Kitchen Finks. And pass the turn. So it's just good old Abzan. I think that Flicker works very well against Abzan. Now he can't destroy the Tidehollow Sculler. He can get back his Kitchen Finks, but it's not a good play. He'll just attack in with the Pridemage. I'm going to let it go through. And down to a 14. And don't know what he has in hand. We do know Lingering Souls is probably what he's going to play. And then we'll be able to kill the Qasali Pridemage if he taps out here by giving him back the Kitchen Finks in his graveyard. Yeah, this that was a perfect draw. Love to see Lingering Souls here. It's not the greatest threat. Perfect. And now... here comes the Wasteland Strangler on the Qasali Pridemage. We'll tack in. He might block with the Spirits. Highly doubt it, though. I'm ahead in life. Flickerwisps were great at getting rid of Spirit tokens. So were Fiend Hunters. And we're relatively similar. He does have a Siege Rhino coming out this turn, or a Flashback Lingering Souls, or whatever else he draws into. We could draw into a Collective Company, which is very powerful with our particular hand. Our board state, anyway, with Wasteland Strangler and Tidehollow Sculler. Siege Rhino is a bit of an issue. We'll end up Fiend Huntering it. I'm sure he'll attack into with the Spirits. Yeah, that's exactly what I'd do. We get Cloudshift. The Tidehollow Sculler... to find something else in his hand. I don't think that's worth it. It's just going to be to Fiend Hunter the Siege Rhino and hope he doesn't have removal. And try to stay ahead of these Lingering Souls. Now if we draw into another land, we can Flickerwisp a permanent of his, and then Cloudshift the Wasteland Strangler, give back his permanent we've exiled with the Flickerwisp, and kill a Spirit. Which now he can Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize is pretty meh here. It takes a black source for Lingering Souls, means that another Siege Rhino is not coming. He can still path the exile of Fiend Hunter, which is very annoying, but that gives us Collected Company mana. He might just take the Collected Company here. I think that is a reasonable play. It still is bad, though, as far as if we draw into another land, we can have the Cloudshift Flickerwisp combo take out one of his lands and kill a spirit. But I mean, flashing back into Lingering Souls is putting me on a decent clock. He takes a Fiend Hunter here. I think that's fine. Yeah, that was a decent play. He's got another Rhino in hand. It's a Kitchen Finks to help stabilize him, so we are going to be worried about those spirit tokens. But we can now get rid of the Kitchen Finks with the Flickerwisp. And then Cloudshift the... this is happening every time. So... we can Cloudshift our Tidehollow. I think we just Flickerwisp a token. I think that's a decent play with our opponent being 0 cards in hand. He's at the mercy of a top deck. The life totals are fairly decent here. I think I do have to block the Kitchen Finks, unfortunately. Which I don't want to be doing with any of my cards. I think Flickerwisp can actually kill another spirit. Flickerwisp and Flickerwisp are pretty fun, though, because it can get rid of all of his spirits. Basically, whatever I need here. I'm going to throw the Tidehollow Sculler in front of the Kitchen Finks. I think I have to do that at this point. And... but I'm going to just take the 1 damage from the spirit token. Now again, we can Cloudshift the Wasteland Strangler anyway. Yeah, we have the Siege Rhino that's exiled. Probably should have done that. I still just wanted to get rid of that Kitchen Finks, but now I don't think the Kitchen Finks is that big of an issue with the Fiend Hunter. Lingering Souls, and you can flash it back. Which puts me under a bit of a clock, but again, we're alright. Because we can Cloudshift the Wasteland Strangler, give him back the Siege Rhino kill off, or we can just Flickerwisp a Flickerwisp. And then flicker the Wasteland Strangler. Yeah, I definitely should have done that. I can actually Flickerwisp, Kitchen Finks, give it back. And then Flickerwisp a Wasteland Strangler. I don't think I can quite collect the company. I think collect the company is being a little bit greedy here. So... just Cloud Shifting and Flickerwisp does nothing. I think we will Cloud Shift. Get rid of us a spirit here. We can get rid of another spirit. When the Fiend Hunter comes into play. I think the Flickerwisp do need to eat some spirit tokens. That way you can decide if he wants to cast back a Another Siege Rhino. Okay, we're down to a 2. We can always Eternal Witness for a collected, or Eternal Witness for a Cloudshift, and Cloudshift the Fiend Hunter again. And then go down to a 1. Don't like the Razorverge Thicket, of course. And then he still has to draw. We go down to 1 Lingering Souls. But we're in pretty decent shape. Because if I just collect a company and just flat out miss here, that's probably not the right. But then we can go with the Eternal Witness Lockdown. We can take care of the Siege Rhino. I think that collect a company actually is the play here. Maybe on his turn, actually, when he goes to attack in. But we do need to find like a Flickerwisp. So collect a company here. See if we get Mana Tithe. Wasteland Strangler does nothing. Neither does Stonecloaker at this point. Go down to a 1. Stonecloaker can get back a Fiend Hunter, and we can actually kill off the... He has nothing. He does have something in Exile, though, doesn't he? He has a Lingering Souls, but I hate to give him back a Lingering Souls. Because the Wasteland Strangler can kill off at the cost of adding some more Lingering Souls. I think that we don't even want quite the Cloudshift either. I think it's just Stonecloaker that can block. The Stonecloaker can actually get back, can exile a card out of his hand. Eternal Witness can then go get, or Wasteland Strangler then kill the Siege Rhino, make the Siege Rhino less, and then we can kill it off. So yeah, that's better. So we'll Stonecloaker, and then Wasteland Strangler. Now I need to stack this correctly. So we want this to happen last. Uh-oh. Oh, that still does. So exile a Siege Rhino. And then return a Fiend Hunter. Which doesn't do anything. Give him back a Siege Rhino, makes it a 1-2. Block the Spirit, and might as well double block the Siege Rhino just in case he's got a Path to Exile to try to keep his Siege Rhino alive. And we stabilize it too. He does have a Lingering Souls that he can bring back, but we have the blocker for it. And that was just a blowout. The Collected Company hit perfectly. So unless it's another Siege Rhino he just drew, just cast back the Lingering Souls. And it's just a land. So perfect. We're in great shape. Temple Garden is bad. We'll play it. No, we'd not like to pay life. Fiend Hunter can take care of a Spirit token. I think that's still the best play. We can Eternal Witness for a Cloudshift, but I don't think the Cloudshift does much. I think, unfortunately, we just need a Fiend Hunter on a Spirit token. And I think we do attack into both the Wasteland Stranglers. We'd have a blocker. We'll keep one back. And this will take him down to a 16, which is starting to get... Or 15, which is starting to get into the range where we can two-shot or one-shot him. So we do need him to not draw into another Siege Rhino. He's used 2 of them. Not quite sure if this Abzan deck uses any sort of Eternal Witnesses. We don't need to worry about like, Liliana's. Worst case scenario is another Lingering Souls, actually. He's used 2 of those and 2 Siege Rhinos, so it's looking good. Birds of Paradise is absolutely the worst card he could have drawn into. Does give him a blocker. Gavony Township's beautiful because now we can Eternal Witness and Collected Company, which I think we'll do. And I think we'll just use it right now. Terrible, terrible Collected Company. But it does give us a blocker. So now we can go in with the Wasteland Stranglers. We can go in with basically everything here. He'll need to block with a bird, I believe, and a Kitchen Finks. But it's really Siege Rhino. We just have to avoid him drawing into one last Siege Rhino. So he's got a 2 out of 41. Which is not very good percentages for that Siege Rhino. Tasigur would be a little bit of an issue too, because Tasigur get exile everything but Siege Rhinos. I think it's just lethal next turn though. Yeah, no matter how he... Awesome! So, Fulminator Mage is decent in this matchup. You can lock him out of a color. Path to Exile is also pretty decent because it can take care of problematic cards like Tasigur or opposing Scavenging Oozes. But the Scavenging Oozes can be taken care of with both the Fiend Hunters and then it resets their counters. It can also be taken care of by... I think that Ooze definitely comes in here for Lingering Souls. Eating his graveyard, I think, is very important. Kitchen Finks, I don't think we need to. Qasali Pridemage, no. Fulminator Mage, again, that's just if we want to play that route of locking him out of a particular color, which could be important. I'm not 100% sold. I think the Cartel Aristocrats, though, I don't think we need it in response. I'm actually liking these Cartel Aristocrats less and less. The whole theory of it is you're sacking them in response to like a Tidehollow Sculler. They never get back that card. It's gone forever. But that still costs you the Tidehollow Sculler or the Fiend Hunter, which I think in this particular matchup isn't that necessary. And I'd rather bring in cards like either Path to Exile or possibly even Fulminator Mage. And I'm thinking the Fulminator Mage to lock him out of those specific cards or well, possibly not. Yeah, I think a Path is fine. I think there's enough problematic cards in Abzan that Path is great against. And of course, you can't keep a no land hand. We'll mulligan this. I believe that I'm going to keep it and scry anything but a land. This is probably a bad keep, especially if he goes first turn Thoughtseize. Don't do it. This is a Temple Garden. I don't care about that. You can put out like a Noble Hierarch or birds. Hey, and we draw in what we need to draw into, so there's a Vial. Which we need to find an Exile card. You go Kitchen Finks or Scavenging Ooze here. Love to draw into like a Path to Exile. Oh, that ramps him up to like a Siege Rhino. It's already on a 14. Most likely it's going to be a Kitchen Finks. Loxodon and Smiter. Yeah, that's definitely a decent card. We find the other land source. Still no black, though. We're one more land away from Collected Company. Smiter's going to come in for some very good damage. And we're down to a 16. With hopefully not a Siege Rhino. Just a birds. And another Loxodon and Smiter. Uh-oh. Okay, so we need Fiend Hunters. We found the Black Source. I still don't think that we put out a Wasteland Strangler. It would cost us 2 life to basically block 4, so we'd be net up 2. Yeah, no point to it. Might just get out aggroed here. We do have Collected Company and a Wasteland Strangler next turn. Unless it's a Thoughtseize. A Rhino would be terrible here if he's got a Rhino. But we are definitely on a 2-turn clock with the Loxodon and Smiters. Very fast hand from our opponent. Surprised the deck hasn't picked up Anafenza yet. I think that Anafenza is a really good card in Modern with its ability to exile cards. Opponent's creatures cards like Living End and stuff, and it's still a 4/4 for 3 mana. The black is a little bit harder to cast, and you don't get the, if a spell really would cause you to discard it, clause. Lingering Souls, that's annoying. Definitely annoying card. See if he flashes it back. Probably should, because that, yeah. And we will put on... This does allow us to kill off something by giving him the Lingering Souls back. Or just make it actually a Loxodon Smiter less. Which I think he didn't need to do that. We'll Gavony Township, though. We'll pass the turn, and then we'll try to collect a company. See if we can somehow stabilize here. 1 card in our opponent's hand. Hate to give him back that Lingering Souls, but it is what it is. Oh, ooh. Well, that was probably one of the best cards he could have... drawn into. Now I don't know anyhow. We have to get rid of the Whitley Fleet for sure. I'd love to find 2 Fiend Hunters. That's what we want to find off this Collected Company. Alright, here we go. Tidehollow Sculler and Birds of Paradise I don't think is going to do it no matter what. Yeah, that is game. Well, the Sculler can actually... The Sculler gets a card out of his hand. I mean, it's. I guess it's just more information. Might as well see what it's. See what he still has in hand. And we'd have to give him a Kitchen Finks back. We could put in the Aether Vial. We block. Oh, actually, we're not dead here. We Wasteland Strangler. We can kill off a Spirit. Or get a Loxodon Smiter down to decent. And then take 1, 2... No, we'd have to kill off a Spirit. And block both of these. I still think we're dead. No, we're not. We're barely stabilized here. But we're pretty much out of everything. So we have to go here, here, and block a Spirit and go down to a 2. Which Stonecloaker now can't do it. But it was worth a shot. Because Stonecloaker can return a card back. We can Cloudshift. Wasteland Strangler could kill off another Spirit token. Yeah, I don't think there's a way we can do it. All right, we're on the play this time. I think we'll bring in every Path to Exile for his Whitley Fleeges. Again, Qasali Pridemage's Kitchen Finks, I don't believe need to come in. Even though Kitchen Finks is a decent route versus our opponent. Maybe Scavenging Oozes for his Lingering Souls isn't that big of a deal. I think it's fine, though. Stonecloaker might just be a little bit slow. Or just like a Birds of Paradise. Maybe we just don't need to ramp up as quickly. Trying to figure out what the last card. Sculler seemed good. Scavenging Oozes. Maybe it's just Ooze down to a one of Ooze. If we find it, we find it. Nothing else, this deck has performed phenomenally. Yes, we like to play first. Let's not get a mulligan hand. This is great. This is actually very good. Yeah, this is insanely good. I love this hand. We can go Path to Exile. Our opponent has to mulligan to 6. Yeah, this is very much in our favor. And he puts a card on bottom, so he does not like the card on the top of his library. So we'll Thicket into a Birds of Paradise. Next turn we have both a Tidehollow Sculler and a Path to Exile. If we care. I mean, you're never going to Path to Exile Birds of Paradise, though. But I would like to actually see a Path to Exile. Tidehollow Sculler gets around the Loxodon Smiter. Noble Hierarch, alright. So we could actually Fiend Hunter the Noble Hierarch. That actually might be better. Then, yeah, I think that's acceptable. Love him to play like another Birds. Oh, this is beautiful. We kill it and give him back the Noble Hierarch. So, and keep up the Path to Exile. Which can Stonecloaker back a Wasteland Strangler or a Fiend Hunter later on. So he's down to a 16 with decent aggression with Gavony Township almost online. We need just one more mana. Collected Company is going to be the choice here. He's down to a 12. Unless he wants to try to path something. You don't want to path a Wasteland Strangler or a Fiend Hunter, I don't believe. Let's be greedy. Does save him 3 damage, but we have a Wasteland Strangler now that's active with an exiled card. Yeah, that's fine. We keep up a Path to Exile here. Yeah, that is definitely acceptable. Corrupt Decay is very bad against our hand, or against the deck. Razorverge Thicket once again comes out on the 4th land. I guess this one came out on time. We'll go ahead and attack in with the Fiend Hunter and the Stonecloaker. And just pass the turn to our opponent. He can Abrupt Decay now on the Stonecloaker if he feels. Feels like doing so. And the path is fine. We'll allow that to happen. I could collect a company response. Yeah, let's be greedy. Tidehollow Sculler, Fiend Hunter. Do you want a Fiend Hunter the Tidehollow Sculler? I think we do. Alright, so that's how this works with the Tidehollow Sculler. We get to get rid of a card forever out of our opponents. It's going to be Loxodon Smiter's fine. And then the path works. And he only takes one. But now we can Path to Exile a Tidehollow again. I think he just throws out a Loxodon Smiter at this point. I don't think you Lingering Souls here. It's going to be Smiter. Unless he drew into like a Kitchen Finks. I might end up Path to Exile my own Fiend Hunter if he does go Lingering Souls. Okay, yeah, I think I want the other Tidehollow Sculler out of the way. Or, excuse me, the Loxodon. Another Razorverge. And, geez, we still don't have a swamp. We can cast it with. So we're going to Path, and we're going to eat his hand both ways. We're going to Path our own Fiend Hunter. Get a Forest this time. Get rid of the Loxodon. Give him the Loxodon. Smiter and kill off a... Nah, I think we just Tidehollow Sculler here as well. And eat his Lingering Souls. And then that does take our Black Source though, but we can go ahead and attack him with the Fiend Hunter. He has no cards in hand. No Loxodon and Smiters left. We have a Wasteland Strangler to get rid of a Spirit token. And then Gavony Townships to tick up. So I think we're in great shape. Does find his fourth land. There's Lingering Souls. So now we have Path to Exile and a Gavony Township. Can't quite do it. I think we kill it. We definitely kill off a Spirit. And attacking with this Tidehollow Sculler and the Fiend Hunter. I get attacking with this Tidehollow Sculler. He'd block with all of them to get back a Lingering Souls in his hand. But I'm not quite sure that even matters. It cost him 3 tokens and cost him a lot of life. So I think that's pretty acceptable. I don't think we need to do that though. We'll just attack in. And go ahead and put the counters on just to kill all the Spirit tokens. And he takes 2 damage from the Fiend Hunter. Down to a 10. Nothing in his graveyard. A Siege Rhino would be, of course, the best card that he could draw into. But if it's not a Siege Rhino, I think it's pretty much game here. And that is game, yep. So, not too shabby. Not too shabby. It's a 4-1 finish with the Abzan Flicker. Very solid deck. We did play against a lot of creature-based decks, which is where this deck shines against. Don't know how well it will face up against like more combo decks like Storm or Scapeshift. I don't know if we have enough hate to really interact with those decks. But anyway, we'll go into the wrap-up video. This has been Kevin with GatheringMagic.com. Thanks for watching. Hi there, it's Kevin with GatheringMagic.com here with the wrap-up video for this week's... I was kind of playing on budget this entire time, wasn't I? I guess this is the Rogue's Alley. This is anything but a budget deck, because I think this, if you were to piece this deck out, it'd be in the hundreds of dollars for this deck, especially the Aether Vials costing... what are they at now? Above 30 bucks now? Somewhere around there? Probably even more than that. Modern prices, of course, with Modern Season coming up, have been going crazy. So if you have a bunch of Modern cards lying around, you should dust those off and check the prices. There's some absurd cards for Modern lately. So anyway, the basic one we're talking about is the sideboard. I think the main board is pretty clutch. I love the Stonecloakers. The Cloudshifts I think are fine. I do like just having a Cloudshift or two in there just for the surprise factor and just the ability to utilize 1 mana. The Cartel Aristocrats I think are a card we don't need though. I'm kind of hesitant on the Cartel Aristocrats. I do see the point in sacrificing your own cards. You can actually protect your cards from like Path to Exiles if you have like the Eternal Witness string going along. But I think that the Cartel Aristocrat is the weakest link, and I don't want 4 of them in the main board. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of some Cartel Aristocrats, and I am going to put in now that I can't think of the card, it's a Orzhov Pontiff is the card. And I have to pick some of these up. I think the Orzhov Pontiffs in the sideboard are very, very good. I think Qasali Pridemages could easily go main board, but I think Scavenging Ooze is just a little bit better main board than the Kitchen Finks or the Qasali Pridemage. The Orzhov Pontiffs, I do think that 2 of them in the sideboard will give you a better matchup versus any sort of thing that's a Lingering Souls type deck. There is also the Leonin Relic Warden is another card that works in this type of strategy. Leonin Relic Warder, which when it enters the battlefield, you may exile target artifact or enchantment. When it leaves the battlefield, return the exile card under the battlefield's control. So it's the same type of effect as both the Tidehollow Sculler and the Fiend Hunter. So I think that these are also reasonable replacements for the Qasali Pridemage, other than Qasali Pridemage can proactively get rid of it. So right now, though, this does give you a better matchup versus things that are both artifact and enchantments, and you don't actually have to even sacrifice the Leonin Relic Warder. So cards like Rest in Peace or even the Relic of Progenitus, you still would have a Leonin Relic Warder, 2/2. For the 2 mana, I think is there's other things that cost double mana. It's another thing that you can flash in with Aether Vial. I think it's a fine choice, and maybe just even cutting out all of the Cartel Aristocrats is the right route. I did not use the Cartel Aristocrats really once. I still see the point though. I still see the point of like chaining those off, gives you that sack outlet, and they never get that card back. With certain combo decks, that's huge, where you do Tidehollow Sculler, and then it enters the battlefield, and then you sacrifice it to the Cartel Aristocrat, and then it hits something out of their hand, gone for good. But I think that with the Wasteland Strangler, we did want things underneath the Sculler and the Fiend Hunter. And the Leonin Relic Warder, I think, gives this a little bit even more of a punch. So I'm going to take out the Cartel Aristocrats. Probably if I piloted this deck more, we could see a point to it, and I might want those back in. I can see that against aggressive decks, you can also have a card that dodges a lightning bolt if you sack something in response, but there's really nothing you want to kill in this deck. I think we have a lot of ways to protect it with Stonecloakers and things. So I think that the Aristocrats can come out, and we just mainboard the Pontiffs. I think that they're the greatest, or maybe even the Kitchen Finks. Kitchen Finks is also good with the Cartel Aristocrat. If you're running Cartel Aristocrat, then maybe I think that you can go into kind of the Malera route with the Kitchen Finks and Anafenza and Malira with the kind of the same with the combo, but at that point I think you're just back into a Anafenza and Company deck with like one-ofs of Wasteland Stranglers and one-ofs of Flickerwisp and whatnot, not so heavy in with this Vial route. So I think Orzhov Pontiff or Kitchen Finks is best suited for the main board. Possibly you could go, like, the reason I do like Scavenging Ooze is it's proactively exiling things for your Wasteland Strangler. It also is a way to gain life, but it just might just be Kitchen Finks, a full package of Kitchen Finks that can help stabilize versus many decks, and then these can come into the sideboard. That's probably the list I'd run. If you have anything else you've run in a similar list, I know that the green has access to so many cards. You could even, like, Voice Resurgence could go in this deck. There's plenty of green-white hate bears or death and taxes type cards that I'm sure could be put in here. Limited Arbiter just sticking right here on the list. You can flash this in, and players can't search their libraries unless they pay 2 more. The problem is you do a lot of searching. Not really. I guess with the fetch lens, there's only Windswept. So Limited Arbiter could be another card you could put in, or even the Aven Mind Sensor is another card that comes into mind that stops people from searching their library. There's even Thalia is not bad, but then you're more into like a Death and Taxes type list, and I think the Collect Company is very important for you to cast on time in this deck, so I don't suggest really Thalia, but there's plenty of options. I know even in Black starts getting a lot more cards that you can exile with Brain Maggots. You could go more Brain Maggots, and even though it doesn't have the Tidehollow Sculler implication where you can kill it in response to the trigger going on the stack, but the Brain Maggot is still another way to eat a person's hand and then Wasteland Strangler it back. But now you're really relying on Wasteland Strangler, and how effective is that card in the deck? We saw very effective in this case. Unfortunately, the other processor, there's a 4-mana processor. It doesn't quite work with Collected Company, but it gets interesting because it makes them discard a card. And then cards like the Linen Relic Ward or Brain Maggot or Fiend Hunter definitely get more interesting. So unfortunately, I didn't think Oath had any processing type cards. What Oath does bring is the Flicker Eldrazi, which is going to go nuts in this deck because it is 3 mana, and we will need to be able to generate a colorless mana, which is where Gavony Township is very good with being able to generate that colorless mana for the Flicker. The Flicker Eldrazi, and then you'd probably want to replace the Razorverge Thickets with the there's a white-green land that Bogles uses, the one that you can actually sacrifice it. Now I can't think of the card. You can sacrifice it to draw a card, and whenever you tap it for mana, I believe it does a damage to you. I think is what it does. I think it does generate a colorless mana. Not quite sure on that. Or there is the black-white filter land, which I think would be pretty decent in this deck, which the Fetid Heath, which can tap for a colorless mana as well, which I think would go great in here. And I'm sure there's other ways to generate colorless mana. So I think that the deck gets some love from Oath just from that card. I'm sure there's some other cards that might just be able to. I'm really excited for Oath of the Gatewatch. I think that there's a lot of cards that are going to mix up standard and modern in Oath of the Gatewatch. So be looking for some new brews coming out. I think the 29th of January is the first time that we have access to cards on MTGO. So you won't see any like new fresh builds with Oath of the Gatewatch until then. We'll try to get back to playing on a budget in that time. We have some great prowess type strategies that are going to be very budget, as well as some red aggro based strategies that I think they can be some fresh new budget builds with Oath of the Gatewatch coming out. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed these matches. With the 4-1 finish, this has been Kevin with GatheringMagic.com. Thanks for watching.